It's time for the Trading Stocks Made Easy podcast. Each week, Trading Stocks Made Easy demystifies stock trading and investing so you can profit big. And now, here's the host of Trading Stocks Made Easy, the wealthy investor, Tyrone Jackson.
And welcome back to another episode of Trading Stocks Made Easy. Hey, listen, it's no secret for those of you who listen to the show on a regular basis, I love having my students in, and I love having my most successful students. In the studio with me today is someone named Mr. I have to start off with the Mr. Brian DeMars. Welcome, Brian.
Thank you, Tyrone.
Thank you for coming in and being a part of the show. Brian, you are an interesting person and a very interesting trader. Before we start talking about trading and investing in the stock market, just tell us a little bit about your background and the family that you came from.
Okay, I came from a lower middle class family. My father was very poor, grew up poor family in the Bronx, and he became a printer. He learned the printing business, and that's something I started doing at a very young age with him. But at the age of 14, I became interested in music and started playing the piano on my own. My best friend was a guitarist, and he taught me a lot about blues and basic jazz, rock and roll. So started playing in bands. By the time I was 16, I started writing my own music, something I found very fascinating. By the time I was 17, I was writing jazz, rock, fusion music, had my own band, had some local success in the newspaper a couple of times. And then I went up to Berkeley to study jazz composition for a short period of time. But when I came back from school, I went back to work with my dad. And I've been doing that full-time since I'm 19, printing and direct mail business. I eventually walked away from the music altogether. Didn't touch the piano from when I was 23 till I was 30. And then my first daughter was born. So I wanted to bring music into the house, started playing again. So been doing that still as a hobby.
Now, what's really interesting about your life, it's almost as if certain things have just spoke to you. What was it about music that really just spoke to you?
It touches my heart, just moves me. I don't know how else to explain it. Any true art will make you feel great. Anything Duke Ellington wrote, Strayhorn, I'm in. There's so many people, and my best friend growing up, who was a great musician, that was a big influence on me too. He loved Jimi Hendrix and just got me into that stuff too, and found that it made me feel instantly really good or really sad. If it's the blues, depending on what the music is. But it's just a form of art that I find even today. I listen to music every day. I have to, or my soul won't be okay. That's it in a nutshell.
Now, I believe that there's another thing that also speaks to you, and that is trading and investing in the stock market. Now, we're going to go real slow here. Tell people how you came upon the Wealthy Investor Program and learned how to trade and invest.
Look, this is a good story. At the time when I finally came to the intro class, my industry was shrinking, printing and direct mail because of the internet, really. And my wife, who happens to be an astrologer, one of her closest friends, someone she's been friends with since 1986, and is also a client, Tony McCardle, who's Howard Stern's hairstylist. She sent my wife an email inviting us to your class. We read the email, and because we both respect Tony very much, and I was at the same time thinking, I got to find another way to make some money, said, let's go to the class. So we did. And my wife and I were both really taken by you, Tyrone, by your story, the way you spoke about the market. I mean, I always found the market interesting, but I really knew nothing about it other than that you could buy stocks, hope they're going to go up, and maybe get a dividends. That's it. That was my knowledge of the stock market. So when you taught that intro class, I mean, I got it because you're such a great teacher. I had to write a cover call right away. And my wife turned to me and said, you can do this. And I said, yeah, I am going to do this. So that night I signed up. I've been coming ever since. It gives me a lot of hope. It's given me a lot of hope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, when we come back from this commercial, we're going to dive into some of your favorite trades, the stocks that you like, why you like them, and where you see your future going as both a trader and investor. Back in a moment with Brian DeMars.
You're listening to the Trading Stocks Made Easy podcast. Want to learn more about how to trade and invest in the stock market? Visit thewealthyinvestor.net/products. That's thewealthyinvestor.net/products and order the Wealthy Investor's Guide to Stock Market Success audio series. This easy-to-follow 5-CD audio series and manual will teach you the basics of how to buy and sell stocks, how to collect quarterly dividends for life, plus hidden income generating strategies like covered call writing and volatility trading. Start creating financial freedom right now. Get the financial education you need to get ahead. Visit thewealthyinvestor.net/products.
Wealthy Investor, Wealthy Investor, WealthyInvestorRadio.com.
You know, I tell you this all the time on the show. Make sure you go to thewealthyinvestor.net. That's thewealthyinvestor.net. Sign up for that free email newsletter because my next free stock market trading teleseminar is right around the corner, and I want you to be on it. Today, we're talking with one of my favorite people, Mr. Brian DeMars. So, Brian, we were talking before the commercial break about how our paths came to cross and you discovered stock market trading. Now, we'll go really slow because everybody in the show, there's a large portion of the people who listen to the show don't know anything about the market. We always start off with covered calls. Tell me about the first time. Do you remember the first time you wrote a covered call and you made money? What was that experience like?
Absolutely. My first date was with Minnie Mouse. I bought 100 shares.
Which we call Disney.
Disney.
Right?
100 shares of Disney.
What's the ticker symbol for Disney?
DIS.
DIS.
And at the time, the stock was about $35 a share. We all know where it is today,
Yes.
about $115. And I wrote an out-of-the-money call that time. It was like $70. And I couldn't believe it. It was an amazing feeling. It's very empowering to make money just like that. And the shares were called away. And then I did it again. And for the first 6 months was primarily DIS and DuPont, DD, because at that time, that's what we traded. And that was how I started. You count at the time, I only had $5,000 in it. So today, it's a lot more than that.
Well, we like that. And I like hearing that because if it went from 5,000 to 2,700, you understand I'd be upset.
Absolutely.
Okay, very nice. Now, well, the next thing that we always talk about in the Wealthy Investor Program is once you start trading, we start building up what we call building a position. That means that you're going to take your covered call profits every single month and you're going to start buying some shares for the long term.
Right.
What were the first couple of shares that you bought when you said, hey, this is going to be a long-term investment and not just a trade?
At that time, it was UTX. And then eventually you had started talking about Visa, but that was later on down the road. But it was primarily UTX that I was taking part of the premiums and buying shares of.
Now, you and your wife also progressed into trading in your retirement account. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And so now you're earning tax-free, depending upon the structure of your account, or tax-deferred dollars. So was it hard for you? Because the number one question everybody comes up with, how much time and research and actually trading do you actually spend? Was it hard for you to now manage 2 accounts?
No, not at all. Actually, then I was managing 3 because my wife and I have 2 separate IRAs. That was very easy to do. I actually did that after 2 months in the classes. The hardest part was getting the money away from the bank. they don't want to give it to you.
Tell us about that. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, my wife had her IRA with a bank, and it took almost 6 months for them to give up the money. I actually got on the phone and made them give her interest that she lost because it took them so long to transfer the funds. Mine was very fast. Mine was in 30 days. And once it's done, it's done. And then it's great to contribute to it. And using the sweep is really great.
The sweep is a strategy we cover in the Wealthy Investor Program.
Yes, 2 parts style, 1 part growth.
That is correct.
So I've been practicing that.
Well, this is interesting because now you actually help other people in your family. And that's one of the tenets of the Wealthy Investor Program, that we help someone else. You're actually helping other people. Explain that. 2
of our daughters had inherited some money from my mother, so they gave it to me, and I opened up accounts for them. So I'm trading, writing cover calls for them in their accounts, and they're getting dividends checks. And then I have a friend who I'm helping with his account as well.
And you make a little money from helping that friend, don't you?
The friend I make, the kids know. The kids know. But my friend, yes, I charge him a little bit of a service fee.
Okay, a little bit of a service fee. Are you going to do this for other people in your family, or is it just too much of a headache?
No, I mean, if my oldest daughter got some stuff together, I would help her for sure. You know, right now she's in transition, so that won't be happening at this time. I don't think I would help any other friends trading. I think one is enough. It's a big responsibility too, and I spend time every day looking at the account and make sure everything's cool. Money's a responsibility, and it's a pleasure to help somebody though too. And we also, when we get the dividends check, which we have mailed at home, we always send our granddaughter a little gift from that money, and we give some money to charity. We don't get a lot, but whatever it is, we break it out.
Isn't it nice to have residual income coming in and you know that you can give some money away? Doesn't that feel good?
It sure does.
Let's talk about I'm going to talk about some of your favorite trades here in a moment. Let's talk about your peace of mind. How does it, I always say wealth is a feeling first. What does it feel like to have some say-so over your financial destiny?
Terrific feeling. Years ago, my IRAs were in a mutual fund, and somebody else was just doing whatever they were doing with it. So by learning from you now to be in control of my own money, it's really terrific. And I set goals, so long-term goals, short-term goals. So that's money needs a plan. I believe that. So I've been trying to do that as well. So it's nice.
Now, you've also progressed to the highest level of the Wealthy Investor Program, which is the Mentor Program, which is really where we, really master, especially in a bull market, trading options. And specifically for those who want to know, leap call options, mostly on ETFs. Your best trades have been what, when you think about in terms of dollars?
Well, my best trades, one was with the Qs when they were really moving last October, and we were doing a financial freedom trade. That was great. I was in and out at least once a week.
How much money are we talking about?
Under $1,000, a trade, but still, that's a lot of money.
That is a lot of. If you get that 3 times a week, that's $3,000 in a week. You're doing pretty well for yourself.
And then Disney, I did very well on Disney leaps several times. Mm-hmm. That's an easy trade.
Right. And you guys can't see Brian's face right now, but when he talks about doing well on Disney, he kind of comes alive a little bit. I don't know if it feels as good as the music business, as writing music, but it's probably up there, wouldn't you say?
It's up there, yeah.
Okay.
That for sure.
Now, we're going to run out of time here in just a little bit, but a lot of people experience fear. I don't want to handle my money. I could lose it. And those other people are handling my money. They're smarter than me. What do you say to that idea?
Fear is something you have to say to yourself, I can face everything and run, or I can face everything and recoup some money. So that's something that takes time to practice. And I also have an acronym for time that I use in this program is trades I must experience. So if I experience a trade, the fear goes away. And if things don't go the way I planned, there are things I can do to get out of that trade and move on. And that's what the fear is all about. It's projecting the worst. So if you can not project the worst, but be smart about it and have a plan, then you'll be okay.
Very
you'll be okay
good.
Either way.
What advice would you give someone who says, okay, Tyrone, this sounds interesting, but I'm still not sure? What words of advice would you give that person?
My words of advice would be just do it. Take some money, open a trading account, and write a cover call. That is still my favorite trade of all, is writing cover calls. That's my favorite trade.
I have to agree with you on that one, Brian.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That music means it's time for us to go. But I do want to say thank you so much for sharing your experience with us today. And when you make $150,000 in a day, will you come back?
Definitely. I'll come back. I'll take you out for dinner, man.
He makes $150,000 and all I get is dinner. But you know what, Brian? I will accept that. Well, this is Tyrone Jackson, a wealthy investor, saying don't get stuck in fear. Your wealth is really in your thinking. It is time for you to get a financial education. So again, make sure you join me at thewealthyinvestor.net. Sign up for that free newsletter, and I look forward to helping you take your trading and your life to the next level. That'll do it for now. See you next time.
You've been listening to the Trading Stocks Made Easy podcast. Be sure to rate and review our show on iTunes. While you're on iTunes, be sure to click the subscribe button and you'll automatically receive our next episode.